Crypto morning and crypto night, people of Earth. I am Nazer Nazer.
Terry.
This is Terry, and this is the Book of Lore. Today we're gonna talk about Superman, the new movie. The new trailers just dropped. Well, they dropped a few days ago, weeks ago, something. They dropped this year, okay?
Yeah. Dropped a few days ago.
James Gunn is making the new movies. It's very different from Zack Snyder's, obviously. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. Before I start anything, Terry, do you have anything you want to say?
Oh my god, this trailer. Oh my god, this trailer.
I don't know how I feel about it. It's funny, but it's also actiony at the same time.
That's a good thing.
It's got the humor like happening on screen, while the music is like this epic action movie.
Feels very S-Taz.
I mean, that is what Superman is, right? Like, he's not Batman.
Yeah, he's not. That's what I'm saying. It feels very S-Taz, which is my favorite Superman adaptation, so that's a good thing for me.
S-Taz.
Superman the Animated Series. S-Taz. S-T-S.
Yes. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. I mean, like, I don't know if you remember this. When the Superman Animated Series came out, the Batman Animated Series had been out for a couple of years. And they wanted to create the Batman animated series, but for Superman.
So what they did there was, in the 90s, same thing they did with Batman, where they took the best parts of pre-crisis and the best parts of post-crisis, and then did their own thing with it. They did the same thing with Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah, it was very different. Like, the original Batman animated series, when it first dropped, they wanted to try to keep it more noir. But I think most people, at least most people born in the 90s, maybe not people born in the 80s, would probably agree that there is the new adventures of Batman, as it was called, was actually a little bit better. They readapted the Batman animated series to match the Superman animated series.
Now, we will get into that in a little bit, because there is a lot of argument about the designs versus the writing. We'll get into that later. But right now,
we'll start with James Gunn, and then we'll continue on towards the animated series. Today we're talking Superman. That's pretty much it, I think.
Yep. Now, one thing I really liked about the trailer is there's this one scene where Superman is talking to, we don't know who he's talking to, but he's talking to a villain. We don't know which one yet. And he goes, "Hey, big guy, eyes up here," and then takes off flying. That is straight from the comics. Superman is not just this stoic Boy Scout. He's a snarky dick when he wants to be, and he often uses that to anger and fluster the villains into following him, so he can get the fights away from the city. Get the fights away from the city, Snyder. Get the fights away from the city.
Now, as most of our listeners probably know, I'm not super into the comic side, but I am into the animated series and movies and all of that. And that's actually even shown in S-Taz.
In S-Taz and Justice League, yep.
Yeah, like one of my favorite episodes, one of my absolute favorite episodes to this day is when Mr. Mixia-Spetleg.
I can still not pronounce that right now. I can have Gilbert Gottfried tell me a million times how to pronounce it. I can never pronounce Mixie Spitlick right on the first try.
Actually, a long time ago, I was trying to do this weird puzzle thing, and I wanted to use multiple dimensions, and I actually called it Mixia-Spitleg. So I spelled out the words, and I actually learned how to pronounce it. It was M-X-S-P-T-L-Y-K.
Yep.
Mixia-Spitleg.
Yep. They in Superman the Animated Series, he actually says how to pronounce his name, and that's how I remember it, but it always takes me 2 tries to do it.
And that episode's incredibly funny. So, like, the premise of the episode, for people who don't know, Mixia-Spitleg is a multi-dimensional being who... Fifth dimensional being who shows up to Earth to basically mess with Superman. He thinks it's funny. Yeah, so he shows up and he starts to basically make Superman's life a living hell. And to give Superman a fighting chance, he sets up a game.
My name back.
He says, if you can get me to say my name backwards, I will disappear for a year. And he assumes Superman is one of those like big muscled buffoons. And he underestimates.
Yeah, he underestimates him. People often forget that Superman, Clark Kent, is while not a traditional genius, he is very smart. He's a Pulitzer Prize winning investigative journalist.
Yeah, I mean,
How do people forget this?
yeah. When we think detective in the DC universe, we automatically think Batman, or like in some cases, one of the Robins or Question or something. But we forget Clark Kent is also a detective. I mean, technically.
Yeah. Investigative journalists are basically do the same thing that detectives do. It's pretty much the same thing.
And keep in mind, he joined the Metropolis Daily Planet, like, legitimately. He didn't like call in favors.
Yeah.
And he's from Kansas City, a teeny tiny small town in nowhere, like literally called Small.
He's from Smallville, Kansas.
Yeah, like Smallville. You can't get more obvious of a small town than Smallville.
All right. One other thing I really, really like in the trailer is we hear both the Clark Kent voice and the Superman voice, and we hear him switch between the two, which for some reason some movies don't do, and I feel like that's a really, really important part of the character. Like, it's part of how he sells the idea of them being two different people.
Yeah, actually, there is a point I want to make about that, which I'll get to in just a second. I wanted to say, like, to be able to go from a teeny tiny town in a school newspaper and like small newspapers in that town, to be picked up and hired as one of the top reporters in the Daily Planet, the biggest news organization in Metropolis City, one of the biggest cities in the country. You have to be great, not good, great. Now back to what you were saying. Like, yeah, I mean, when it comes to Batman, we automatically have that. We got the Bruce Wayne voice, and then we have the "I'm Batman," But
Yeah. Like, pretty much every Batman deepens his voice as Batman and then raises it as Bruce Wayne, which is weird because, like, while Batman does need to hide his like secret identity, you have a mask on your face. You don't need to have such a drastically different voice when you have a mask. So it always felt weird to me when people use their Clark Kent and their Superman voices for the same voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Comics make a point that the comics, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, all made a point of having Superman Clark Kent voice be a little bit higher and a little bit softer than Superman's, whereas, and we saw that in the not Jordan Reeves, the Christopher Reeves Superman movies too. We didn't get that in Man of Steel, in the Snyderverse. We didn't get that in Superman Returns, and I'm like, that's weird.
No, yeah, exactly. Actually, you probably know this better than I do. When Superman first came out, he had hypnotic powers, mild hypnosis.
Oh, the Golden Age.
Yeah, the original Superman. And the Clark Kent glasses were made from a special Kryptonian material, which would heighten those hypnotic powers, so no one could recognize his face.
Yep.
Now, obviously, that's been long abandoned, but when it got abandoned, one of the things that was still being said for why no one recognizes Superman to be Superman was actually a conversation. I'm pretty sure they did this in the comics, but I remember it from the animated movie series where he talks to Wonder Woman about it in her Diana Prince form for the first time. And she asks, like, how are these people not recognizing us? And he goes, like, people don't recognize, like, people that they assume are gods when they're among them.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the Superman Batman comics, the Girl from Krypton, our first appearance of the post-crisis Kara Kara Zor-El, Supergirl. She asks why no one recognizes him, and then she sees this big statue of Superman, and then she looks at Clark Kent and she looks at Superman and goes, I get it. They don't look for you there because they don't think about you like that. They think about you like this. And then a couple of years ago, when they temporarily revealed Superman's secret identity to the world, everyone was pointing out, I didn't even know Superman had a secret identity, much less that it was Clark Kent, which makes sense.
Exactly. I mean, like, yeah, unlike the other superheroes, Superman doesn't wear a mask. He doesn't wear, like, he makes it very obvious that I am Kal-El of Krypton. I am Superman. I am here to help you. The only secret identity that Superman has is that he's Kal-El, an alien.
Yep. His address in the Fortress of Solitude is pretty much public knowledge. Like, why would they think that he dresses up in a suit and works in an office as a 9 to 5?
Yeah, and think about it, there is a lot of precedence in reality. Charlie Chaplin lost the Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. Multiple celebrities have actually done the same thing. They went to like their own lookalike contest and lost.
Marilyn Monroe used to go out wearing nothing but a brown wig and changing her body language, and no one would recognize her, and she was Marilyn fucking Monroe.
Tony Hawk's, to this day, like literally on his passport, on his ID, it says Tony Hawk. People read it and they go, huh, like the skater guy.
Yeah, but we're getting away from the point though. Another thing I really liked about this movie, about this trailer, is they have Lois and Clark during the Lois and Clark interview, Superman explicitly states he does not represent American policy. He represents nothing but helping people and doing good, which is something the comics have hammered home again and again. He actually cannot stand when people take his interventions as government policy or government reaction. He's like, no, I don't represent the United States. I represent everyone. I represent everyone. I just want to do good.
Yeah, I mean, like, the comics even changed their names. Like, this was a huge debate a few years ago, but it actually makes sense considering what Superman has always stood for. Like, it went from truth, justice, in the American way to truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Yeah, and which is actually really interesting because Truth, Justice, in the American Way is itself actually an adaptation. It was not part of the original comics. It started in the radio show as World War I/Red Scare propaganda. But the original oath was truth, justice, and tolerance for all. Then tolerance for all. Well, no, first the original was only truth and justice. Then the radio show added truth, justice, and tolerance. Then during the Red Scare, they created Truth, Justice, and the American Way. They've actually been trying to move on from Truth, Justice, and the American Way since the 80s, but it only managed to stick when they got something to replace that and the American Way part with Better Tomorrow in the 2010s.
Yeah, and that actually stands more for what Superman stands for. He's like literally always stood for a better tomorrow. That's always been like his, like, I mean, I don't think it's ever been a catchphrase of him, but when you hear the words "a better tomorrow," you think Superman. Like, he's the man of tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah, like is in one of his many nicknames. One of his many nicknames is the Man of Tomorrow.
Like, literally, and like, it's actually, it's funny. People often compare Superman to like Captain America as like the American hero, but when you really think about it, he doesn't wear red, white, and blue. He wears red, yellow, and blue. The only time he wears white is when like his outfit is mostly black. Like, Superman is literally your, and he's an illegal alien. He's as illegal of an alien as you can get. He wasn't born in the States. He never got like.
He literally smashed down onto here from in a rocket ship.
Yeah.
And his parents just passed him off. As the as a home birth after they had another miscarriage.
Exactly. I mean, I always wondered that out, like, because I've never seen Martha have the miscarriage. It's never been mentioned in any adaptations. I've always actually wondered how they ended up doing that.
Yeah, Martha Kent has a history of miscarriages. We'll talk about that some other time, though. Yeah, it's very sad.
No, okay, well, that explains why they don't show it often.
But
yes, he is a literal illegal alien. Like, you don't get more illegal alien than Superman does. He stands for tolerance for everyone. He's shown wearing bright colors. And even a lot of his now abandoned power scales and power systems were also quote unquote controversial because they preach tolerance. That Superman's always been that person, the man who stood for the rights and tolerance of all.
Yep.
Which is actually really cool as well, because Superman is also your common man. Like, it's funny because Superman is the greatest superhero of all time when it comes to powers and all of that stuff. But he's also your common man. He's a farmhand from from Kansas City, whose only like real outstanding factor is that he is smart enough to be a great writer.
Yeah, like Clark Kent. Look, Superman at his very core is Clark Kent, and Clark Kent at his core is a chill-ass farm boy who happens to have super.
Yeah, exactly. Like people, like we see, especially in recent years with Zack Snyder, we really lean in onto him being this orphan who's like lost his parents and is like this miserable, brooding Batman, Bruce Wayne character. I mean, like Superman is not Batman. He's not Batman with superpowers.
They really play up the alien origin and how important Krypton was. Where while Krypton is important, Clark Kent's entire emotional foundation is being Clark Kent, Smallville, Kansas.
Yeah, he's got parents. Like, if you ask me, like, to name a superhero who's got loving parents, I'd say Superman. Like, his parents are constantly there for him. They love him. They make him Christmas sweaters. There was even an episode in the Justice League series where Martian Manhunter goes to visit Superman, Superman's home for Christmas.
Yeah, and he just mentions it's good to go home and be myself, which again tells you he thinks of himself as Clark Kent, not as Kal-El.
And he still believes in Santa. That's what's funny. Like, as a grown adult of superhuman powers, he goes, "Hey mom, didn't you mean Santa wrapped my gifts?"
Mm-hmm.
And Martha and I can't remember the dad's name.
I mean, to be fair, Santa Claus does exist in the DC universe, acts dark side.
Yes, he does. He does. I shouldn't have mentioned that because side note tangent for people here. Me and Terry are actually in a TTRPG game set in the DC universe, and I had a huge bombshell of a surprise for Terry, who's our DM, based around Santa, which I've been keeping a secret for the last 6 months. And I was going to reveal it in our next session.
As the DM, you're supposed to tell me these things so I can work them in instead of keeping them secret from me.
I did give you a hint about it.
All right, fair. But anyway, I also love how my boy, Nathan Fillion, looks as Guy Gardner. It is hilarious and it is accurate.
I was about to say that. So they actually brought Guy Gardner into this movie trailer, which is crazy because Guy Gardner doesn't get a lot of screen time.
No, he does not.
Guy Gardner, for people who don't know, which I guess is like 98% of you guys, is one of the Green Lanterns. He's considered probably the most obnoxious Green Lantern, but he's also powerful enough to, be that way.
Yeah. He is like, he is an arrogant dick, but he is also like the hardest motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. He's a hard-working mother-flapping Jim Jam.
Yep.
And also, like, if I remember correctly, Hal Jordan wasn't the first one who was chosen for the ring. It was Guy Gardner, but he was too far.
Mm-hmm. Other things I really liked was how good Mr. Terrific looks.
Oh, yeah! That was one of the first things I noticed. Mr. Terrific also, again, doesn't get a lot of screen time. He's a great character. You would know him if you saw the Arrowverse, if you saw the DC animated movies. Mr. Terrific, like, they did him so well. Did you see the outfit and then the T spheres? Like, he made a chair out of it.
Oh yeah, that was pretty thug. And Hawk Girl / Hawk Woman. I don't know which version of the name they're going
Actually,
with.
that was the one that confused me. I want to get to that in just a second. I want to just talk about Guy Gardner real quick. Guy Gardner was done so well. Someone who's only seen Guy Gardner in a few cameos and only know about Guy Gardner to the level I know because I talked to Terry about it a few years ago. I don't know if he remembers, but I actually had a conversation with him about all the Green Lanterns because I was super curious.
Oh yeah, there's there's 7 human lanterns.
Do you remember
so.
that conversation though? Like, it was like I think 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember vaguely.
Yeah. So I called Terry up like 3 years ago, and I literally just asked him about all the Green Lanterns and the human Green Lanterns and Guy Gardner and everything. In fact, him being an obnoxious person, the one that I coded right now, that's actually quote from Terry. He told me that.
Yeah.
So like, for me to recognize him, and he's only in it for like, I think like 4 or 5 frames, like a second or point something seconds. Like, I could see that and go, hey, that's Guy Gardner.
Yeah. He has a very unique look. He has a very unique attitude. He's the one who uses the Green Lantern ability to boost physicals the most, just so he can punch people more. And I respect that.
Yeah. And for me to recognize him, that just shows how well they've done him when it comes to characterization, when it comes to outfits, everything. And I didn't even know it was Nathan Fillion. I just saw Guy Gardner. I didn't recognize Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion, for all you young ones out there, is one of the greatest actors of the previous few generations. He was in a show called Firefly, which if you haven't seen it, watch it. Maybe don't watch the movie because it hurts to watch the movie. It really does. But he was in Firefly. He was in the last Wonder Woman movie. He was in a whole bunch of stuff. In fact, people even like debated that he should have been Hulk and he should have been the old Green Lantern. Like, the Green Lantern was a huge debate when Ryan Reynolds was made Green Lantern. There was a huge fan conversation about how it should have been Nathan Fillion who should have been Green Lantern. Which, now that I'm saying the words, I'm realizing is probably why they made him Guy Gardner.
Yeah. Besides, Nathan Fillion has always been really good at playing arrogant douchebags.
Yeah, that's true. Again, watch Firefly. So I don't know if we can actually include the actual clip from the show. It's only a minute long, and technically it does or should fall under fair use, but we can never be too sure with YouTube's and other social media automated bot systems, and I don't want to deal with them. So, but like the main quote is Nathan Fillion, his team, the Firefly team, they take on a job to do from this big guy, whose name I will not mention, but they decide to not do the job for reasons, which I won't mention. So the big guys, bounty hunters, people show up to reclaim the money, to reclaim and pick up the objects. And he goes, hey, here's all the money that your big guy gave us. Take it. We're not going to do the job. Just take it and go, and we'll call it even. Like it's fine. And the henchman, he's like, how dare you do that? Like, you keep the money. I will hunt you down, and the last thing that you will see before you die is my blade. And these are the good guys, just so you know, right? Not the bounty hunters, the Nathan Fillion's team. But so Nathan Fillion just looks at him and goes, darn, kicks him into a jet engine and just kills him. And then his partner, another henchman, like, they bring him down, and he's like, repeating the lines, like, so this is all the money that they gave us. And the henchman's just like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I am not dying for this. It's like, yeah, no, totally agree with you, bro. Like, I'll return the money, and we're all good, we're all even. All cool. The point is, Nathan Fillion is awesome. He's so good at playing like these rogue hero characters with attitude.
Another thing. All right, so I'm actually not sure which Hawk Girl / Hawk Woman they're using, because there are technically two.
Actually, that's what I was gonna say. Before I lost track in the tangent of conversation. I noticed that the outfit they used for for Hawk Girl was very different from everything else I've seen of Hawk Girl in most incarnations. I've only seen an outfit that looks like that in a different comic panel, similar to, like, in the Justice League storyline when the Hawk people attack Thanagarians, attack Earth and take over, and Shayura reverts back to her Thanagarian outfit with the weird helmet and stuff.
Yes.
She doesn't look like Shayera Hall anymore. She looks like a different Hawk girl whose name I cannot remember.
Yeah.
And I think that outfit is the closest to this one because, like the outfit looked more Thanagarian than what Shayera Hall is shown to be wearing. So I think it's the other.
Yes, and it might be Shayera being more Thanagarian, but it also might be Kendra Saunders.
Actually, yeah, Terry, I think you might be right about Kendra Saunders because I was actually looking at the Kendra Saunders outfit from Legends of Tomorrow, and the outfit's remarkably similar to the one that we saw in the Superman trailer.
Yeah, could be either.
I'm gonna cast my vote on Kendra.
Perfectly valid.
Wow, we're almost out of time. We've been talking for a while because we got so excited about DC. We've been talking Marvel for 2 episodes, okay? We got excited about DC. And I'm not talking Washington.
All right, that was a good joke. I gotta give you that one.
Okay, so let's get back to the actual trailer. One of the biggest complaints people are having about the Superman trailer is, well, one, that it seems more like humorous than the Zack Snyder cut, because people are used to Superman being this broody, powerful character. But, like, you can attest to this, I guess, but like, Superman is not known to be this broody, powerful character. He's known to be, yeah.
He's laid back, he's chill, he's jokey. Again, watch Superman the Animated Series, watch Justice League, watch heck, even watch some of the older Superman cartoons. Like, don't just watch the ones from my childhood, watch some of the older ones. Superman cracks jokes, he makes fun of people. He is snarky. Heck, watch the Superman Batman movie, Public Enemies. He roasts Batman in like the first 5 minutes, and then later has this really, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's actually one of the only characters who can like make fun of Batman and get away with it.
Do me a favor, Clark. Lose the sense of humor. Do us both a favor. Buy one.
There is there's a scene that I was thinking about with Superman. Not in like firstly the Mixia spit like scene, right? Where like so Superman has now have Mixia spit like say his name backwards, right? And one of the times he gets him to leave is by literally asking him how to say it, and he goes, "Kill Tep Season," and he disappears. The next time, so when Mixia Spit like shows up, Superman goes, "Ah, there you are, Mr. Kiltech Season," and he's like, "Not Kiltech Season, Mixia Spit leg." It's like, oh darn, he disappears.
And then goes, oh, and then just goes back to shaving.
Exactly, he's just shaving. He's just shaving the whole time. Which is what I mean. Superman is meant to be funny. In fact, Batman was actually surprised the first time Superman objected to Shazam, Captain Marvel, Shazam, being a child and wondering if he should belong in the Justice League. Because Batman expected Superman, of all people, to be like completely on board.
Yep.
Terry?
Yeah, no, I was agreeing. Just, yep.
You know we can't see you, right? If you nod your head.
I'm a very visual person.
Well, there is no camera here.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I agree. Like, one of the things that I really love is that this movie does seem to be at least trying to show that. Also, Mom Pa Kent sound like Mom Pa Kent.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's the whole point. Like when Superman is serious, it's actually surprising. Batman of all people gets surprised when Superman gets serious. He's like, what is going on? Like, you know, like I'm the broody one, not you. Stop that. Right?
Yeah.
And
yeah, Superman's supposed to be the one who feels both like a chill farm boy, even when he's hiding the fact that he's a farm boy. He feels like that chill best friend, or that supportive older friend you can rely on. That's why when he looks down at you and crosses his arms and says something like "I'm disappointed" or asks why you're doing this, you're supposed to feel like, shit, Superman's disappointed me. I'm fucked up.
Exactly. Which is also why there's so much weight when Superman actually does something serious. Like in every story arc where Superman kills someone, right? Like there's a reason why it holds so much weight, because this is like the second chillest superhero in the comic series, right after the Flash, not including Shazam, who did something serious, something dangerous. Like if Batman killed someone, like no one's gonna bat an eye, or Nightwing an eye.
Right.
But when Superman does it, it changes the entire universe, it changes the entire league, because it is such a powerful moment. If Henry Cavill's version of Superman did it, it's not gonna make a difference, and it did. It didn't. He killed Zod, and like nothing changed. Superman was just Superman. Like that's not what happens when Superman kills.
That's right. I have a couple of stories of the few times Superman's killed in comics and how it affected him, but we do not have time.
We really don't. We have like 3 minutes before we end this episode, so we're gonna go straight into this one. No offense to Zack Snyder in any way, love him, he's great, and most people who know me know that I love Henry Cavill. I love Henry Cavill as an actor, not that I'm in love with him, as far as you know, but like this I don't know who this actor is. He looks like Elijah Wood, but his performance is actually really good. It takes humor into it. Superman is meant to be humorous. In like every appearance he does, he's meant to have that lightheartedness, which was lost. It was lost to the point where Batman had to pick it up by talking like a tiny little schoolgirl, going, "Oh no, I missed you, Clark," in the Justice League movies. That's not how Batman sounds. Batman isn't even as brooding as people make him sound. It feels like because Superman is so brooding, people feel like they need to make Batman even more brooding.
Yeah.
But Batman's also a wisecracker. He's so smart, he makes fun of others in a very
dry, deadpan way.
Exactly. Like, there's a scene from the animated movies where he removes Green Lantern's ring, and Green Lantern's like...
Which really shouldn't have worked because, the DNA lock, but...
Exactly. But as soon as it gets removed, he's like, you will... Oh, but keep in mind, Green Lantern had just become Green Lantern at the time, so I'm guessing it hadn't... he didn't know how to activate it yet.
Maybe.
So he goes, "You will not do that again." And then Batman just smiles and goes, "Unless I want to."
Yep.
Like, that's Batman. Batman is broody in contrast to the lightheartedness of Superman. Not that Batman is just grumpy Mr. Bats. Like that's where the fun of it comes in. So I actually think that this trailer's got some good merit. One of the other things people found really weird was logical inconsistency, where one robot talks about how the robots don't feel anything, and then the new robot gets blushy. But that's the humor of it, that this robot has been programmed properly, it's adapting to new technology, it's evolving, and it still doesn't feel, but it's now mimicking the language of feeling.
Yeah.
It's like when you talk to ChatGPT, ChatGPT doesn't feel what you're saying, but it goes, "Hey, I feel you, bro."
Yeah. But yeah, that's the joke. Like, they're complaining about literally a joke.
Like, I feel like people are just being way too judgmental about it because they don't understand who Superman is. They grew up with Zack Snyder, they grew up with the Justice League, they think Superman is Batman. He is not. So I'm gonna actually say this movie's got a lot of merit. I'm excited. I wanted to talk more about how, like, when Clark is talking to Lois as Superman, you can really tell the difference in the voice. And him actually losing control of the acting.
Yeah. Like a couple of times, for a couple seconds, you heard the true, what I like to call the true Clark.
But we don't have time. You know what, man? Just screw it. Okay, you know what? I am getting sick and tired of us having like a set time limit for how long the podcast is gonna be. Just throw that out of the way. We will talk for as long as we want to talk, because this is getting interesting. All right, people, please just bear with us. Keep listening. Throw it in the back. Go to the bathroom. Have a drink responsibly. Carrot juice. So back to what we were saying. Yeah, you're right. People are complaining about a joke. I mean, it's not supposed to be taken seriously with the robots, right? And even if it was, it shows technological evolution. We've seen that happen before. In fact, DC is known for having AI creatures that start off nothing and then keep evolving slowly and slowly, like a Mazo. you know?
Yeah. Mazo, Red Tornado, the Android Hour Man.
Red Tornado specifically, I mean, Red Tornado's whole arc was that he was a robot who knew he was a robot, but wanted to find humanity within himself, which is a huge thing. And then, especially when it comes to Superman himself, again, Superman is not Batman. Superman is not your most tech-savvy superhero, but he's also not a brute. He's not a pure brawler type either. Superman does use technology. He uses spacecraft, space engines, robots. Like, are we sure Superman isn't Batman? Like, Superman is known for being tech savvy. He's known for being a survivor. He's lived through post-apocalyptic Earths using his wits and survival skills. He knows how to jerry-rig a car.
Thing is, Superman is very smart and he can do techie stuff. He just doesn't like to do techie stuff. Superman's intelligence doesn't manifest in, oh, I can invent this. Oh, I can prepare this. He can do it in a pinch, but he doesn't like it. His intelligence manifests in, as we said before, investigative reporting, investigative journalism, finding connections, finding the story, and then writing down that story and relaying it to the common man.
Exactly. So, like, there's even a story arc. It's in one of the animated movies as well, where a Superman robot, one of the automatons, ends up being one of the new Supermen, and he actually becomes his own superhero. It was in that movie with, like, I remember when Superman was thought to be dead, and then Superboy and a couple of other Supermen took over.
Yeah, Superboy, Steel, the Eradicator, and Cyborg Superman.
Eradicator, that's the one I was thinking about.
Yeah. The Eradicator is a Kryptonian artificial intelligence in a cloned body of Superman.
Exactly. So, like, Superman's own technology does evolve. So, number 12, like, I don't think number 12 has emotions. I think number 12 just picked up emotional habits, similar to how ChatGPT picks up your talking styles. Like, ChatGPT doesn't actually feel emotions. You know, when you tell it a sad story, it doesn't feel sad, but it can replicate that sadness by saying the things a person who does feel sad says. So, same way, I think that's what number 12 is doing. Number 12 is picking up on these habits and, like, expressing itself in a way a humanoid would, without actually feeling what a humanoid feels. So there is merit to it. It's not, even though it is a silly joke, it's not out of the blue.
Yes, and also it's a joke, and you can just let it be a joke. Sometimes you can just let the funny be funny.
Exactly. It's one of the rules of comedy, and it's one of the rules of suspension of disbelief. Now, I don't think our listeners know this. You probably do. One of my pet peeves is actually when a movie, like, dismisses its own logic. Like, if they set up a rule and they dismiss it, I hate it.
It's our big beef with the Terminator franchise.
It's my big beef with most Marvel movies, to be honest. If you guys remember from GMGN, the first episode, it was my big beef with the Novocaine movie. I think I talked about it in that episode. The Novocaine movie, that was one of my biggest issues with it as well. Actually, Terry, you gave me a quote years ago that I still remember. One of two quotes that I still remember to this day are both from you, and this one was from you as well. I don't know if you remember it, but it was about Magic A always being Magic A.
Yeah, I remember that. The rules of Magic have to be internally consistent with themselves. Magic A is Magic A, Magic B is Magic B. Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember that rule. I still remember that quote of yours. And it's one of the two quotes that, like, still drive my being. You know, it's funny that two of my most favorite quotes are both from you. But yes, exactly, and that's one of my huge pet peeves. It's one of the things that irks me the most, and it annoys me right now that there are people out there using that to defend hating on the Superman movie, when me, someone who's actively annoyed by it, is like, no, that doesn't apply here. It's a joke. It's not logical inconsistency. These are the same people who are okay with Marvel breaking logical inconsistency. Zack Snyder broke logical inconsistency, but everyone's fine with all of that. DC has been breaking it up until now. In most of their movies, their timeline is out of whack like crazy, but we're all fine with all of that. But here, a joke is suddenly, oh no, all hell breaks loose. It doesn't make sense. James Gunn is a not smart person.
Yep.
It's times like these I feel like people need to take a step back. You know what I mean? It's like, are you really hating on this issue, or are you using this as a reason to hate? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
the other thing was with crypto. The other thing was with crypto, jumping on top of Superman over and over again. Now, my understanding is that's also a joke, and crypto is acting like a normal dog would, jumping on top of its owner.
Okay. Yeah. I'm very excited to find out who this Juggernaut is, because right now people have three guesses. They think it's either Ultraman, Ulysses, or Parasite or Parasite. And all three of those were very good guesses.
I don't think it would be Parasite. Parasite is more of a grounded villain, even though he's incredibly powerful. Like, he would call for more of a solid storyline, and James Gunn, I feel like, is going for something more post-apocalyptic. Like, maybe not Doomsday, but maybe not like, Doomsday, Apocalypse, whatever, but something bigger. We saw a creature that looked like the Beholder in the background. Do you know who that is?
Could be Starro.
I thought it was Starro. Starro, for people who don't know, is a giant alien that controls people's minds. It looks like a starfish. I thought it was Starro, but like, it was round. It looked closer to a Beholder from D&D.
Yeah, I completely hear you. Some of the Starro spores look like that.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Just the eye.
I did not know that. I mean, then yeah. I mean, like, it did feel like Starro, but Starro's storyline involves a lot of intrigue and mystery and research. This felt more action-packed.
You're right.
I'm leaning towards one of the more like big, powerful, brawlier types of bad guys, because we had a giant monster show up, maybe something that can summon creatures from interdimensional space. Maybe that the guy from Warworld.
Warworld? I don't think it will be Mongol. Mongol doesn't really have the big one eye. Oh, you mean maybe Mongol's behind everything? That's possible.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe Mongol is sending in monsters and creatures.
I also like that they have Mercy Graves as a cyborg. I love.
Oh yeah, that was done really well.
Yeah. All right, but other than that, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, my only pet peeve with this entire movie trailer so far is Lex Luthor. They made a younger version of Lex Luthor. It just feels a little iffy to me. But that's because like my vision of Lex Luthor has always been powerful businessman.
I actually do like when Lex and Clark are the same age. They both seem the same age in this movie. I actually like that because it gives a very good parallel there, but for the Grace of God Go I feeling to their relationship.
Are they the same age? Like, it actually felt a little bit like Lex was young, maybe because of his body frame, but Lex felt younger.
Yeah, it's the face. He has a very young face.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's it. But like, I think like I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I mean, James Gunn, like, he's not an out of nowhere director. James Gunn made the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He's known for making action and comedy work really well. He does know Superman material. He's not like completely blind to the comics. And it feels like he also has knowledge on classic Superman animated movies and TV shows, because there are some Easter eggs to old catchphrases in there. Up and Atom, for example, is an old Superman catchphrase.
Yep.
So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
One last thing that I would mention now that we have a little time would be Clark Kent and Lois conversation, because we really rushed through that part. There was one small thing I wanted to say was when Superman shifts forward and when Clark shifts forward and pretends to be Superman.
Like I said, we already mentioned the Superman Clark Kent voices, but I like how he got angry and he loses both the Metropolis Clark voice and the Superman voice, and sounds just like Smallville Clark.
Exactly.
His real voice.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And you do notice that difference.
Yeah.
You can seriously see the shift.
Even
Like watching the trailer, I don't think we had context that Clark Kent was pretending to be Superman.
Yeah.
like I said,
He wasn't wearing his glasses.
Yeah,
you know?
he was doing the Superman voice. You hear the Clark Kent voice is a little higher and a little softer, and then the Superman voice is a little deeper and a little more heroic, for lack of a better term. But then when he got angry, he uses both those tones, and he sounds closer to his actual speaking ability.
I like that. That was a detail they didn't need to put in.
Exactly. And that's something that I feel like people don't realize. Like when you're watching the trailer, everyone knows that it was Clark Kent pretending to be Superman in that interview. But at no point in the trailer did Lois mention, "Hey Clark, can you pretend to be Superman?" You know, she just says, "So you're going to do the interview as Superman." That could have very well meant that she knows Clark is Superman and Superman is the one doing the interview. You know, like it's not, you don't know it's pretend.
Right.
But just from the way the actor's voice changes, like you know it. You know that, this is Clark pretending, not the actual Superman.
Exactly.
David Corenswet. That's the actor's name. I had to look that up.
Mm-hmm.
David Corenswet. Corenswet.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
It sounds like corn sweat. Okay. Like I don't know, like 2025 Elijah Wood. That's who he is.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. So I think that's everything. The final conclusion is Superman is not Batman. He's not meant to be brooding. Henry Cavill can do no wrong, but the Zack Snyder version of Superman is not the most accurate version of Superman. There are way more accurate versions, especially in the animated series and all of those, and this one is way closer. And I feel like it does strike a balance. It doesn't go all the way to OG Superman, but it still has some drama to it, some action to it, but it pays strong homage to who Superman actually is, even going back all the way to the original Man of Steel movies from like the 80s and 90s and I think 60s even.
70s movies.
70s, yeah. And it pays homage to all of that. Yeah, like keep in mind, you've seen One Punch Man, right?
Yeah.
When a hero is basically a Deus Ex Machina on himself, like you can't write a story about his struggles as much as you would want to. You would have to write a story around the hero. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the best, like Superman the animated series, it unlike the newer Superman movies where like there's just a bad guy who is so powerful Superman can't beat him. In the animated series, Superman is probably in most cases the most powerful person in the entire show.
Yep.
And he's in like
up until Darkseid and Apocalypse was
and Lobo
part of the show. Then yeah.
And Lobo.
And Lobo.
Yeah. For most of the show, Superman is the most powerful. And on top of that, Superman is, unlike One Punch Man, Superman is in most of every episode. Like with Dragon Ball and all these shows where the main character is overpowered, they cut him out of most of the episode. But he's in almost all of it. Mm-hmm. And the way they do it is that the story is intriguing. He has to figure out who the bad guy is. He has to find a way to disarm the situation without getting violent. Mm-hmm. Like, that's another way Superman's intelligence comes ahead. Like, if Superman wanted to, he could just punch everyone into the ground and be done with it. Solve all problems in like a blink of an eye. Faster than a speeding bullet, you know?
Yep.
But Superman has to be the more mild and sensitive hero. He has to hold back his power. He has to hold back his anger, all of that, and find a humane way to de-escalate the situation where you need that level of intelligence.
Completely agree.
Like Batman can afford to throw a bunch of different bombs and punch someone with like near metal gauntlets because, well, he's a man.
Yes.
Like he's gonna do as much damage as a man can do.
Yep.
But Superman is like Superman.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why Kryptonite is so iconic. Superman is Superman.
Mhm.
He has to be a lot more clever when it comes to things. You know, if he just randomly punches someone, he's gonna kill someone. So he has to find a way to disarm them in a clever way. He has to think about his situation. And all of that is what leads to Superman's stories being so engaging. So I feel like this is a good blend where you have that intelligence, where you see Clark Kent investigating, looking, thinking, trying to figure out how to stop a war. The fact he failed to think is the reason why he's getting so much hate. He acted without thinking, probably because he's new to being a high-end superhero. He, just went in and did what felt was right. And had to face that backlash.
Exactly.
But you also see Superman beaten up, which means there is a big bad who's powerful enough to beat up Superman. So I feel like that blend between the modern day Superman who's powerful and brawly and the OG good Superman who is intelligent and smart and investigative makes this seem like a very good movie to watch.
Yes.
So yeah, we both vote for watching it. We're both excited to see it. When it comes out, we will watch it. We will do a review. We will let you guys know what's going on. I think we have talked for a long time today about DC. I don't think there's anything else pressing in the comic book universe coming up in the next week. So next week, we will talk about, we will play what we already recorded when it comes to the Odyssey.
Yes.
I was gonna say Olympus for some reason. When it comes to the Odyssey, we'll play that for you guys, and we will get into starting. You know what? We have time. We will talk completely about Jason because I want to hear Terry's thoughts on Jason.
Oh, I'm so.
All right, so this has been Good Morning Good Night presents the Book of Lore. I am Nazer Nazer. This is Terry. So, and we wish you all a crypto morning and a crypto night.
All right, that was fun.